Hi folks, so we talked about how hips can affect your knees and cause them to be achy or painful, but today we're going to look at your ankles and feet and how they may have an effect on your knees and hips. So the feet, your feet should be able to make lots of movements as well around the ankles, so they should be able to roll inwards and outwards, and obviously you should be able to come up onto your toes and rock back and forth. So if you look at ankles here, they should go in and out, and they should be able to come up and back. So quite a few people lose their movement, their ability to do this, to raise their toes and have this dorsiflexion. They'll be able to point them, especially if they spent their younger years dancing. Their ankles tend to stay in this position where their foot is pointed, and they don't have the ability to flex their ankles and point their toes back towards them. So you want to bring good movement into your ankles. So if you rotate them and you find that actually your movement isn't so good and you can't make a full circle, you might go halfway and then it drops down. So you want to be able to make that full circle. If you haven't got that full range, you can compare your legs as well, because undoubtedly one leg will be better than the other. You should be able to do it clockwise and anti-clockwise. If you haven't got that good movement in your ankles, then it's not able to move the way it needs to. So when you're balancing, so let's say you're balancing, I'm going to use my left leg, you're balancing here. If you haven't got that movement within your ankle to take some of that strain and help you balance, another joint will have to do the work for you. So let's say you are unable to roll your foot inwards. So this is what I saw with one of my clients the other day. Her ankle doesn't roll inwards, so it's all on the outside. So her weight goes into the outside of her foot when she's balancing on one foot, so if she's in a lunge position, which then means that the knee tries to compensate by potentially rolling inwards, which then affects the quads and the hip. So the outside of the quad has to work really hard to try and create some of that stability, because the ankle isn't able to stabilize. So with me, my right ankle, it's more prone to that pronation where it rolls inwards. It's a little bit, this is the ankle I've sprained a few times, so it's more likely to roll inwards. So for me to stabilize, I have to really concentrate hard and push the weight back into the heel so that it can just transfer upwards and into my glutes correctly. So this is more, when I'm standing here like this, it's fine. If I start to balance on one leg, you'll see it starts to roll more inwards, and it should be able to center itself in order to stabilize you, and you use a bit of your glutes as well. But when you haven't got that movement, you're going to find that your knee, so it'll be the inside of the knee, the foot rolls in, the knee, inside of the knee takes it, and you might also feel it in your hip because your knee is coming in this way. So to strengthen your ankles and feet, you can simply do calf raises. So if you need to balance, you can use a chair or hold on to something, and you can do these in different directions. So you can start with your feet together, and all you're doing is coming up onto your toes, so you're just raising your calves. So you'll feel the back of your lower legs, your calves start to burn after a while. So you can do these, let's say you're doing 15, where you're doing it with your ankles together. And then to try them in different directions, you'll bring your heels together and then come up onto your toes. So again, you're working those calves, but you'll start to feel you're working a different part of your calf. What you also want to feel is a little bit in your glutes. So let the glutes start to work and raise up. So you're strengthening the tendons and the muscles in your lower leg, but also just improving the strength of the muscles in your feet. So if you have fallen arches, this will help. And then you want to do the opposite to that now. So you're going to pigeon toe your feet. So you're bringing your toes in together, and then you're going to raise up onto the balls of your feet here. And again, still feeling it in your glutes. So now your calves should be quite warm, and you know that they've worked. So my right leg, as I said, is the one that tends to roll in. So when I do this movement here, I can feel it quite intensely in the right side, not so much in the left. But just doing that alone will help you strengthen your lower leg and also your ankles. And if you haven't got good movement in your ankles, you might find when you test it after doing that, it improves. So it might move better, you might be able to make those circles better. Don't forget you should go clockwise and anti-clockwise, so both ways. And what you can also do is do it on the floor. So you want to roll through the movement. So you basically want to get into every single nook and cranny within that joint, get your leg moving through it, and do it on both legs. So although my right leg goes in more, my left ankle cracks a lot as it moves through, and then it's okay, and then it starts to move fluidly again. So they're just a really easy thing that you can do to strengthen your lower legs and your ankles. If you've got a wobble cushion, this is also great for strengthening your ankles. So if you have had lots of ankle sprains in the past, using a wobble cushion can really strengthen the muscles around it. So you just stand on it. You can stand it with both legs, so I'd hold something initially just to make sure you know what it feels like. And then you can balance on it, so you just move around. So it allows your ankles to have to find stability because the cushion is uneven. And then once you've got that and you can find that you're standing, you can stand for a minute, say on both legs balancing, and it's quite easy. You can move to do it single-legged. So place one foot on it and you're going to balance. So this is when you really get to find out where you're dysfunctional or you need to improve. So this is my not so good leg. So here, now I've done these quite a lot, so it should be a lot better, but I can feel my ankles really working hard to stabilize it. Now if it wasn't, I wouldn't be able to balance on it, and that's how it was when I first started doing these a long time ago. So it would be like just a couple of seconds and I wouldn't be able to balance at all. Let's compare this leg, which is even better. Yep, so the same thing, the ankle shakes to get that stability, and if your ankle can't do that, then obviously you'd pick it up here in your knee and then into your hip. So you want your ankle to be able to do some of the work in stabilizing you. So if you were out walking and it was uneven ground, that's when your ankle should be doing some of the stabilization work for you. Otherwise, knees and hips have to pick up the slack, and that's when you'll start to feel that if you're doing it for a long time or more and more, your knees will start to hurt. So start to strengthen your ankles and the muscles in your lower leg to help you have less pain in your knee and in your hips, but also work on your hips through the exercises I posted yesterday. If you've got any questions about this, do ask and I'll see what I can do. Okay.